Welcome back to episode 63 of the Disorganized Wizard Club podcast. My name is Alex. I'm here as always with Adam.
Hello.
And Cam.
Hello.
And we're a group of Ottawa-based players that play just about anything and everything that we can qualify for. We talk about decks, tournaments, stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We've been doing pretty good at it.
I mean, yeah, all right.
Maybe not ourselves, but I feel like we've been successful in helping others improve at Magic.
Right. Yeah, we just charitable about, giving away.
Yeah, maybe we should change the intro to help yourselves or ourselves get better at Magic.
Right. Like, it's an elastic band. Just like luck. Like, it,
Yeah.
you can only stretch so far and go so many ways.
Yeah, life is an elastic band. I mean, there's like the observable universe is finite, so everything else has to be finite.
Right. So, like, there's only a certain amount of better.
Yeah, you can only get so much better.
Right. Because, like, if everyone gets better equally, then
the universe
then
explodes.
then it just stays the same, though, too, right? Like, from a,
Oh, because the universe also runs on relativity. This is what Einstein taught us.
Right.
Right.
Isn't he wrong, like, about, like, the certain...
Like wrong
how,
about
like,
what? I don't think he was aware of quantum mechanics.
Right,
but
that's what I mean. Like,
he wasn't like
but,
his
like, not
relativity still
wrong,
holds
sorry,
on
but,
the
like,
scale. Which
I guess it
postulate.
still holds for like odds.
Yeah, on like large scale, relativity still works surprisingly well.
Well, like even small scale relativity here works then, because like we've basically nailed it with as far as luck and getting better goes.
Yeah, exactly.
But because I definitely am not going to get better if I'm busy helping other people get better. I've realized this. That's just how it works.
Oh yeah,
I can't focus my energy.
you need like your own solo training montage.
Yeah, exactly. Like otherwise, it just doesn't work. It's like a Rocky montage, but it's just me shuffling and getting angry. I'm trying to think what a Magic montage would look like, if it was like an action montage.
It's you like drawing and then looking upset, and then it cuts to you like chugging vodka, like throwing your deck against the wall.
But then like going back and like re-sleeving.
That's
like your
re-sleeving
gym.
No, it's like you and a scientist like working on a whiteboard, then you're like re-sleeving a new deck.
Yeah. And then
Pile
like,
shuffling.
Yeah, and then you like show up back to the
Attacking, swinging with everything.
like doing the fist pump like over the red zone as you like get them.
You've got like one of those like grip strength things in your left hand that you're like practicing your grip strength at the same time you're practicing your top decks with your right, drawing cards off.
Switching off.
Yeah.
Just flipping top decks with it.
Tap a land.
Shuffle in your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of exercises that you need to be good at.
All right, it can be done.
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking for a video editor.
Yeah, we need a video editor. We need someone with a camera. We need someone who knows anything about making movies.
Man, you can just use your phones these days.
True.
Cameras on those are great.
But we want to go high quality,
Yeah.
Also, like,
Just use an iPhone.
we got to use what's it called? The Bonnie Tyler song, The I'm holding out for a hero. Like that one. That's gonna be, like really ridiculous.
I just assumed we were going to go with Eye of the Tiger, but
No, that's way funnier.
yeah, you're right.
All right, montage on the way.
Week 2 of our new series. What are we calling it?
Keep 7.
Keep 7. 7 Deadly Sins of Magic. Last week we did Greed. If you haven't checked that episode out yet, go back, listen to it. It's great.
Give us more views.
Like more.
I want all the views. I want
Give
to
me
have the
more.
most views. Yeah.
I want everything good to happen to us and us alone.
Not just us alone.
No, that's how it works.
Oh,
We
right,
talked
relativity.
about-
Yeah, that's you don't have to say that. It's implied by relativity.
Oh, yeah, right. My bad.
You can find this episode and last week's episode, as always, wizardtower.com, mtjcanada.com. Fantastic supporters of this podcast. Check out Wizard Tower for all your Magic single needs.
Their prices and shipping are not relative. They're better than their competitors.
They're doing a Black Friday sale as well.
That's what
which
I'm
you should
getting.
mention.
Yeah.
This Friday, in case you're wondering when.
Yeah. 20% off all Magic singles.
And you still get 3% back, I believe, on your store credit if you order online as well. So it's like a big stack. So like it's a good deal. Anyone looking to get a bunch of singles that you've been saving up for, or like you want to spend some store credit or some cash or some trade-ins, like whatever, if you can get there in time.
We're going to be talking about some modern and legacy decks today, so those are the big ticket items.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Yeah, you get a lot. That's a big sale. That's a
Yeah.
huge sale. So also my birthday.
Lots of deals coming
On
down the
Black Friday.
pipeline this weekend at wizardtower.com.
And there's a team trios if you're in the Ottawa area and you want to come get stomped by me and my 2 buddies who are the reigning champion, the 12 Forcemen, a.k.a. Team Trash Can, a.k.a. the Elliot Mackenzies.
No one's going to understand the references, but
Whatever. The 12 Forcemen? I mean, that's like not that hard to get.
okay.
we're rich. We have 12 forces between us because we got them at the last Black Friday sale at the Wizard Tower.
There you go. Plug complete. All right, this past weekend we had a standard Grand Prix in Portland.
Boo.
And we also
What's
had
wrong with Portland?
team constructed trios in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore,
Which is
run by SCG.
I wasn't booing Portland. I would never boo Portland.
So, if anyone watched coverage from Grand Prix Portland and checked out the top 8 and top 16 deck lists, you'll notice
It's not a good look.
It's
Hence
not
my-
a good look.
Hence my boo.
We have all Teamer Energy and Mono Red decks with one cycling deck in 16th.
I don't see what the issue is. One of the greatest
15th
games,
and Assault Energy in 16th. I
Sure.
believe. Yeah.
one of the greatest strategic games to have ever been invented and played by humans is chess. And there's only two colors in chess. So I don't understand why a 2-deck format's so bad.
It's just like I thought that there would be a little more innovation going forward. Like I realized like it was the best deck and like
Innovation in the age of the internet.
yeah. Hey man, it happens. Look at there's a blue-white cycling list that we saw from the Pro Tour, like top 16, you know?
Yep.
Craziness.
Real innovative.
It's pretty new.
But energy's just too good in a small set. And
Yeah.
so I was hopeful and you were hopeful too. I remember at one point. But I guess we just have to swallow our pride regarding brews and like tokens and other decks. And
Yeah.
at the team trios, I'm playing energy. Like I'm just playing an energy deck. I don't know what flavor, but I'm playing energy.
Just straight Teamer. It's the best version.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, the evidence at this point is overwhelming. Like, it feels like people have tried there's this glint sleeve siphoner version, but it's not performing as well as just the straight Teamer. It feels like everybody have tried their splash cards, tried the different 1 of 2 of inclusions, and it just keeps being like straight Teamer.
With maybe
Overall.
a few tech cards here and
Yeah,
there.
it's like Teamer and then you tech it, but other than that, it's like, oh, there's overwhelming evidence now. Just as much evidence as there is for general and special relativity, there is that Teamer is the best deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Portland was taken down by Shenhar.
I've not seen that guy
Two-time
do well
world
in a
champion.
while.
He had like, I was watching his winner's interview. It was like 2 years of just getting smushed
Yeah. Like
straight. But then he's having a good season this season. He went X4 at the Pro Tour,
yeah.
finished 9th at Atlanta, I think, and then won this GP.
Yeah.
So he's having a good season now. Safe to say this guy's probably back. But yeah, honestly, wasn't really anything exciting from this Grand Prix. It was just a lot of the same, Glorybringers smashing people, Hazards smashing people, lots of energy.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. There's not a lot like it's funny, like we were just joking like about our pride and everything, like just like to put it away and like listeners, like at this point, like if you're like sometimes we get messages like more and more as time goes on, like we increasingly get messages from you listeners who are saying, oh, like what deck should I play? I have like this local tournament coming up. Like this is a case where like you probably just play the best deck. Like it's not like you just gotta swallow your like brewer's pride, or like your like critique of like everyone just plays the same deck. Like at this point, like if you want to succeed in standard, like I think that
you just have to. Like, so we were talking before the Pro Tour about how like I thought a Fumigate control deck would be very good. And then there was one that did kind of that like a Jeskai approach deck did okay. And so I was also wondering where Dynavolt Tower had gone. And so like I put together like a Jeskai Dynavolt control deck with Fumigate.
Oh boy.
And played it like once or twice. I think only once. I tried to play it twice, but the event didn't fire because standard's not super fun right now. But I did play it once, and like, yeah, it was just super medium. Like I played against Teamer, and what should have been good, like fumigating them, like they realize like you're playing Jeskai. They realize there's a fumigate. Teamer players have learned how to play around it. Like it was okay, but I did not feel like I was gaining any significant points that I wouldn't have just playing Teamer mirrors.
Right, like you're probably just gonna have to leverage your play skill at this point, or
right, like
or play the like kind of teched out version to beat the mirrors that we see, like the 4-color version that plays like glint sleeve, siphoner, and Gonti.
Yeah, just to be
because that's got to be like crazy in the mirror, but not as good versus other things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I think the 4-color energy deck that made top 8, played by Chris Larson, he started like 11 or 12-0 in the tournament.
He was just stomping.
Yeah, just crushing on Teamer all day. And I watched him just smush a Teamer player on on coverage.
Right. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so powerful. Like 3 Gonti, 3 Scarab God. Like,
Yeah.
they're just all annoying cards for
Yeah.
Rug to deal with.
Great
like,
mid-range cards.
right. So, like, yeah, Gonti can hit a tune, but when it hits even just a Harness Lightning, it just feels so good. Like,
Yeah.
it blocks Bristling Hydras and Long Tusk Cubs, like, it trades with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so, yeah, we've talked about Gonti a lot in the past. Like, that deck seems good, but I bet it's, like, worse against, like, approach decks or, like...
It's probably worse against mono red decks, too.
Right. Oh, definitely worse versus mono red.
So, yeah, it really...
Like, your 4-drop, like, dies to a Braid, Lightning Strike, as opposed to your Bristling Hydra, which doesn't.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, you have to really think, is the extra splash worth it? And, I mean, if the splash was free, everyone would just do it. It's not. And I mean, Teamer won this entire tournament, so it goes to show, like, maybe straight Teamer is just the best way to go. But I mean,
did Shahar have any kind of like unique changes, or was he just playing like a really stock list?
it was pretty stock. There wasn't anything crazy about it. Let me pull it up. Right there. Yeah. Playing the 1 commit in the main deck, 2 Braid, 1 Magma Spray.
2 Confiscation Coups. This is like the most stock list possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nothing crazy in the sideboard either.
Big fan of Lifecrafter's Bestiary in the sideboard, though, because some lists don't play it. I think that card's like insane.
Yeah.
It's good in the mirror. Like, it's green search for Esconto.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
just right. Like, it's so insane. And he just scries and draws a card every turn. Like,
Yeah, because it like sort of feels that like you're trying to outgrind the mirror or other mid-range decks, and so it's kind of a different approach to the same problem that Glint Sleeve is trying to solve in that 4-color deck.
yeah. Yeah,
But
it's
then
great.
your mana's better.
Great in the mirror, like comical versus control. Like, if it resolves versus
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, blue-black, it's over. It's over. Like, they can't kill you. Like, they can't get enough resources to kill you, I don't think. I've done it. I've played against it online, and like, I just got through every Torrential Gearhulk, and like,
Oh yeah, no, blue-black definitely can't deal with a Bestiary. I was thinking the like approach decks, the like blue-white
they
approach.
can cast out it. Yeah,
They can cast it out, or like if you're taking off your turn 3 to cast an artifact that you're then going to pay more mana per creature to draw a card, like they might be able to race you with their approaches. But presumably it's postboard. You also have negates and stuff, so I don't know. That's an interesting choice there.
he's notably playing less counter magic though. 2 negates and a Supreme Will.
yeah.
I think he realized like control sucks.
Yeah, if you had this meta pinned.
Yeah, like, let's think of, like, looking at this top 16, it's all mono red and Teamer. You don't need negate in any of those matchups.
Now, and like his sideboard is like 2 more Braids, Magma Spray, Chandra's Defeat, Aether Sphere Harvester. Like, he's playing for mono red matchup, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to see in the last bit of this format, it's going to be very akin to when it was just Mardu versus 4 colors of Healy. Like 2 decks whose sideboard is only for each other, and everything else just kind of gets stomped because these decks are so good.
Yeah.
fair and balanced.
Yeah.
I don't
Fair
know.
and balanced interactive games of magical cards.
I was very, we were talking about this a bit before the show, but I was very impressed with that blue-white cycling deck. It looked really sweet.
No, I still think there's like room. There's still like a possibility something is playable. Like,
Not
and
all hope is
good.
lost.
Like, it's just that, like, here's the thing. Like, it also takes like the community at large to like pick up a deck and be like, yeah, I want to play that. I think it can win. Like, I think that like the reason that these formats get so depressing, like looking at the numbers, like for a lot of people, is because like people aren't willing to try anymore. Like, which we're also advocating at this point.
Yeah.
But like, it's true, right? Like, because like, but I think there reaches a point in like a standard season where people are like, it's just like not worth trying anymore. Like, we know the best deck. Like, yeah, sure, something can compete, but we won't even know, and we won't find the best list because like there's no way people are going to take the risk at a Grand Prix. Like, the best players aren't going to like roll the dice and be like, yeah, I'll just like try this deck like and see if it works, right?
Whereas early in the format, you don't have this like you don't like no deck really has a lot of evidence behind it. So like rolling the dice seems about the same as playing any other deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, like
I mean,
your
we're
deck has to
still
be so overpowered.
we're
to
still
compete.
dealing with the like consequences of a busted mechanic like energy being printed. Like there's just
Yeah, that's the issue.
yeah, it's Kaladesh, man. That set ruined everything.
Energy is just so good. Like it's just free cards. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to see much innovation, I guess, because this strategy is just so overbearing on the format.
it's been that way since like when you were Aetherworksing for Emeralds. Like energy was just so good.
Well, even the Sahili days, like those are all just energy decks.
Yeah, like it's always been energy decks. Actually, like
Yeah.
just the formats have been defined by energy. It's just that they've been banned down to like this is what's left, and it's still absurd. You know what I mean? Like we've banned down to like commons and uncommons, right? Like we've banned down to Long Tusk Cub, Whirler Virtuoso, Rogue Refiner, Attune with Aether, and it's still just bananas.
Is the only rare left seeing play that deals with energy Bristling Hydra?
Confiscation coup.
Confiscation coup.
But yeah, like Harness Lightning, right? Like
Yeah.
they're all just like this is just boss. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Remember I was saying like in draft, even like Wizards seems like they put the best cards like
And
the
commons,
staples like
yeah.
an uncommon, right? They're so dumb. Like uncommons are busted. Like in draft, right? Like you think about like all these crazy cards like Shapers of Nature. You know, you're like, whoa, if that card's nuts, like it's an uncommon, man. Mythic uncommons are where it's at these days.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, like I don't think anything's gonna change for a long time, like unless, what's the next excellent set?
Rivals of
Rivals,
Ixalan?
yeah. Unless Rivals is like powerful, which it won't be.
Yeah,
Man,
probably
you
not.
see that crazy mid-range card?
Like,
that
it
they
can't-
spoiled.
It can't outpower like
Like they can't make rivals too powerful, or else the draft format, like the 2-in-1 draft format, will be unbalanced. So like they're just not going to do it.
Did you see this?
Oh yeah, the Immortal Sun. So this is a 6-mana legendary artifact. Players can't activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers. All your creatures get +1/+1, and there's something else I can't read.
Spells you cast cost one less, then at the beginning of your draw step you draw an additional card.
that's nuts.
Yeah,
That's a lot of text.
that's like
That's like
a mid-range breaking sideboard card.
yes, I agree. It's probably a sideboard card, but however, that card is probably going to end up worth like $1 bajillion because this is like actually a busted EDH card.
Yeah.
This is a card that like every EDH deck will play. Literally every like not everyone, but
Yeah, and it's a mythic, so it's gonna
yeah,
gonna
like
be insane.
99% of EDH decks. Like I bet the comments on like Mythic Spoiler are just like this is gonna be insane in my EDH deck. Like I'm not gonna read it because that's like a meme, but like that is guaranteed what it all says.
Yeah. This is going to be the one, like,
Yeah, yet another card every EDH player will jam into every deck and yell at me for being dumb and not running when they acquire.
Is that the first comment you saw?
F and lazy design and F ADH staples.
Nailed it. I knew it.
okay, do you think this card, because like if you open this in a sealed deck, it's nuts. Do you think it's going to be comparable to like Outpost Siege? Not Outpost Siege, the white one. What was
Citadel Siege?
Citadel Siege?
No, that card wasn't beatable.
Right, but like this is also
But it's
everything's
6.
cheaper.
It costs 6.
Sure.
And like everything cheaper and limited, it's like not a huge deal.
You're going to play against
all your
people who are
stuff.
still trying to cast Brontodons. Like 6 is not a lot.
Yeah, 6 is still a lot. I mean, the card's like if the board is at all reasonably stable, you automatically win.
Yeah.
Sure. Like, yeah, it's going to be a bomb and limited, but
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be as like miserable as something that comes down as early.
Okay, that's
Like
fair.
that was the problem with Citadel Siege, just like came down so early and it just ended the game on turn 4.
This Elder Dino is pretty sweet too. It's like a really cool design.
Whoa, Black Dinosaur.
Yeah. Did you read it, Cam?
I forget what it says.
So it's like the 6-mana 6/6 Death Touch. You can pay a black to reveal it from your hand and put a prey counter on an opponent's creature, and then when it enters play, you destroy everything with prey counters on it.
That's
It's just like,
nuts.
it's a super cool design.
That's
I really
very
like
good.
it. Yeah, I really like it.
It makes like
It's cool.
interesting play patterns too, because it's going to make people like want to trade.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like the whole
It changes like the whole like
yeah, that's super
shape
neat.
of the game.
yeah.
In limited, that card's unbeatable, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah. No, I really
Like
like.
Like,
Calm.
to ever have a spare black mana, just all right, that thing's doomed.
Yeah, I really like the design of this card. It's sweet.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually.
Mhm.
I'm glad it has Death Touch as a 6/6. That always makes me laugh. Just something massive as Death Touch.
Yeah, big fan.
Yep.
6 mana 6/6s with Death Touch.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Ronus. Right on.
Well, I did. Somebody did block my Ronus with a Torrential Gearhulk recently, and thought like they just bounce, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
sweet. Free
That happened at the Tower Open. I watched that happen.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that guy's dead, and he's like, oh, I haven't played against Ronus, and I was like, yeah,
Because you just don't expect things like that to have Death Touch.
yeah.
and get out.
But Invigorated
Oh.
Rampage also in the format still.
Speaking of Ronus, we completely forgot that there was a Pummeler deck in the top 8 of Portland.
The spirit of the 1890s is alive in Portland.
Red green Pummeler featuring 4 copies of Samet. 2 of each.
2 of each Sam.
Love it. Amazing.
I'm a big fan, man. Pummeler, good enough. We've said it before. I won't say it again. What's your take on Pummeler? Good enough.
Sideboarding the 1 Swamp, 3 Duress, and 3 Cartouche of Ambition.
That's the best.
I love this
That
deck.
1 Swamp goes a long way in covering both your control and your aggro matchup.
Really, the lesson here is Attune with Aether is broken.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, if ban Attune with Aether in Standard, imagine.
You banned Attune with
can't
Aether
play
in Aether
Energy
Hub?
anymore.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
No, you can't.
I mean, you can, but like,
They can't.
oof,
You can.
You
It's
can't.
just gonna be rough.
it's gonna be hard.
It's going to be so bad.
Yeah. So
People would still play. It'd still be no. It
might
probably
be
wouldn't be bad.
comparable
It'd
to every
probably
other
just
deck.
be like every other deck.
yeah, it wouldn't be overpowering.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't
That's
just
what you
be
mean.
tier 1 dominant.
No, we were just talking about relativity, Stelly. It's only bad if every other deck ends up better than it, which I can't see happening because you can still just play Glorybringers.
Yeah, but otherwise, like this was kind of the only innovative, take. Although at the Star City team event, there was a green-blue pummeler as well, which I think is the better version. Actually,
Why?
dive down.
It's just more hexproof.
Yeah, protecting your pummeler, and also being able to play Trophy Mage if you want it to go get your pummeler.
None of those decks play Trophy Mage, though.
They should. There was people who are dumb, and like. So the issue I have with the red green pummeler deck, like, is that against just like normal teamer, they'll just trade removal, trade creatures with you. Like, it's too hard. You never get a window a lot of the times where you can like combo them. It's actually really hard if they have like a reasonable draw of like removal and stuff. Like, and they can still have some pressure. It can be like really difficult to get through. Like, I think that's why Pummeler doesn't do as well. And I think like the blue-green version does a little better at playing that game of trying to combo them as opposed to just trying to like beat them in the red zone with like a few combat tricks.
Just because they have more hexproof.
Yeah, because they can protect their
abilities,
Pummeler
yeah.
and protect their guys better.
Yeah.
And they're like more all in on the combo. Like, they don't play removal spells. Like, the green-red version plays like a couple harness lightnings and stuff. Like, the green-blue version is just all in on like crashing the ramparts or larger than lifing something and like trying to kill them. Like, I think that's actually a better strategy.
Okay.
Just because it commits to what your deck's game plan is. Like, you're like, we've talked about this like a lot in the past. Like, you're playing a deck though that can't pivot. I don't think. Like,
No.
I don't think that. I think okay. So here's the thing. I think against control decks, actually, with decks with Fumigate and Settle the Wreckage, the green red version's better because it plays Voltaic Brawlers and can just like put pressure on with a single creature without having to play pump spells.
Yeah.
And like the blue-green version will have a lot of dead spells, even with counter magic. Like, I don't think it's as good. But like against the mid-range and like decks with like spa removal, I think the blue-green version's better. Like, having played Pummeler and like watched a bunch of Pummeler games, like I think that is how it lines up. So like, yeah, your deck can't pivot. And like we've talked about, like the best decks are ones that can pivot, hence like Teamer Energy, like being the best deck, it can pivot.
Yeah.
But I don't think the blue-green one can pivot. But I don't think that should be your... Like, Pummeler can't pivot, period. Like, I don't think that should be your game plan. Your game plan is to combo. Like, you're an all-in greedy deck. Like, you got to go for it, right? Like, knowing when you go for it is, like, how you play the deck. It's like playing Infect. So, I just don't like the red-green version compared to the blue version for that reason. Like, I think that the red-green one is, like, trying to pivot, but, like, isn't good at it.
Especially in
It's
this
got,
meta.
like, rusty turrets.
Like, if you're expecting to play against a meta similar to the top 8s of this weekend, then yeah, go blue-green. Because you're just going to play against Teamer in red.
Yeah, and I think like your best bet is to just like wait a turn on your Pummeler, and like play it with
Play
a
it on
one blue
4,
up,
yeah.
and then just like go for it the next turn and hope you have it. Like, I think that's how you win. I don't think you can
I mean,
win.
that's probably always correct.
Yeah, but the red green one tries to kind of win in combat, like the way. It's
Well, yeah, because
built.
the red green deck isn't playing an infect strategy. It's a okay, like mid-range creature deck that has a combo kill, whereas the blue-green deck is just infect.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, like that's I just don't think the red green one is like. I mean, it's hot baited, like kind of hard to dunk on it.
Scoreboard.
Like it's, #scoreboard. Like it won, therefore it was correct, as we like to joke.
Yeah, I don't know. Pummeler's cool, but I'd probably never play it. I would just play Teamer.
And notably, Cartouche of Ambition, completely bonkers against Pummeler. Put a -1 counter on your Pummeler. Get out. Get off my battlefield.
I have definitely ticked up a Liliana the Last Hope on a Pummeler before.
Probably feels real good.
Yeah, and they went like my opponent went to activate it, and I was like, I mean, you can. Like, it was like at a Thursday or something. I'm like, you can if you want, but like that doesn't work. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
on your upkeep, it dies before you get priority.
Yeah, it just is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were rough times for the old Pummeler. But things are looking up. Also, energy. Shaking my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe the lesson here is like swallow your pride and play energy decks of some variety. Like,
Yeah, like despite this one of Pummeler, if you are going to take any standard event seriously in the next probably month, yeah, you should play red or Teamer.
Yeah. It's sad to say, but that's just kind of where we're at now.
yeah, unless you like think you can break it, in which case, like,
Yeah, unless you got like
Good
a
luck.
week worth of like 8-hour days testing like with like the best people in the world to like come up with something new.
or just like you actually have like a sweet idea and you can
Yeah.
actually test it, but like, you know, again, test it against good players and like I would like to see not on cockatrice. You always hear someone
Yeah,
like, I test my sweet brew on cockatrice. Like, yeah, against people who don't even know the rules work. Like, because that's like mono cockatrice players.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like if you actually think you have it, like,
And we're not advocating like don't play a different deck if you want to. Like this is
no,
if,
fun. Like at FNM,
right.
I'm not playing Teamer ever. Like,
right,
I'm never
exactly.
going to play
Like
Teamer
at
at
regular
FNM.
events, play what you want. But like if there's something that like you are actually like if you're going to an RPTQ that you want to take seriously, or you want to take a PPTQ seriously, or whatever, like a GP, or like you're really into kitchen table magic, play Teamer or red.
Or you really want to dunk on your friends in a 1v1 at the kitchen table.
Right.
1v1 me friendo, you won't.
If you're like you were out at the bar with your friends and like your phone died and they were too drunk and they didn't hear that you were saying that and then they left you and you ended up walking home, like yeah, dunk on them with Teamer.
Yeah.
Did this happen to you?
Nah, no.
That's when I thought Ken was falling asleep. And then I called him a baby.
That's a good story.
All right. Do you want to touch on this team event a little bit?
This team event looks sweet. Team events are fun. Hence my
Yeah.
plug for the team event to try and come dethrone us. So like egotistical about it, but I just think like they're super fun, and like when you lose, it's like funny because like you're with your friends, you don't care, and like they're just fun to watch because I think like even watching them like on coverage, people get really into them.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're just sweet events, and you get a variety of formats, which I like because I basically like every format. So like it's cool for me because I'm like, I watch some Legacy and then I'll watch some Standard, some Modern, like switch it up. Like the funny part though is like we were kind of joking about like you gotta like swallow your pride and just play the best decks, like whatever if you want to win right now in Standard. Well, this kind of looks to be the case in Legacy and Modern. If you were to look at these results, like the winning team was Teamer Energy, Grixis Death Shadow, and four color control in Legacy, which is called Check Pile sometimes. And it's just like a insane 2-for-1 deck, basically. Like it plays, its creatures are 4 Baleful Strix, which is great, by the way. 4 Deathrite Shaman, 4 Snapcaster Mage, and 2 Leovold. It's just like mono value creatures. And then just like, you know, the regular cast and crew you would expect in Legacy, right? Like 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder. But there's Liliana the Veil, usually, sometimes 2 Jason Mind Sculptor. Like this is just a deck of the best cards.
Yeah.
In Legacy, like Fatal Push, like Force of Will. It's just a kind of like classic bug mid-range deck. This deck is very good. It's been around for a while now. It's like insane. My favorite part is the one of Lightning Bolt that it's been playing for as long as I can remember. It also plays a one of Thoughtseize, which I think is great. Just in case, you know?
You never know, man.
Never know when you're going to need it. 2 Colligan's Command, which is sweet. because like this deck is just out to grind, and like it can beat combo decks. You know, you just got to try one of Thoughtseize.
Is it not playing Force?
But like you're playing
it's playing
Force.
Force.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, like
Plays
this.
him to
It plays a main deck. Yeah, it plays main deck 2, main deck him to Torak and a Pyroblast. Like you definitely have game. Like this is a deck that you just have game against actually everything. Like I don't know like what you have zero chance against.
I don't know.
Like this deck is just it's gonna pound Delver like decks into the dirt. Just removal them out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, like Baleful Strix is just like an actual nightmare for Delver decks. Like that card is just
Unbelievably
yeah,
good.
it's just so like it just feels miserable.
Yeah.
So I'm not like super familiar with Legacy, but there were a few lands decks in this top 4 and top 8.
Yeah.
How is this deck's lands matchup? Because like I don't see a way that deals with Merit Lage. Do you just have to like get ahead of them or like disrupt them?
Yeah, you probably just have to disrupt them. Like I think it's probably I'm not even sure. Like I think you probably just have to like Deathrite Shaman them, like the Life from the Loam and like
Oh, disrupt their life from just exiling or
yeah,
exile the
like
lands.
you probably got to get that out of there. Like this matchup,
Yeah,
like
you can still do it.
I didn't watch it, but like this probably is a bad matchup for the deck. The lands matchup is like probably
well,
not.
you don't
great.
even have to win it though. You just rely on your teammates too.
This is the one where you can
There
throw,
you go.
yeah. But like that deck probably has a good matchup. Like the Legacy deck probably has a decent matchup, like a fair matchup against everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lance is like probably a bit rough, but like again, Lance is a deck that like just pounds Delver, right? Like I think both these decks doing well. Like the top 4 had 2 Lance decks, a Sultai Delver list, and then the check pile, like the 4-color list, 4-color control with Leovold.
Yeah.
Like the 2 lands in the 4-color deck are just designed to beat Delver, which is like the best deck in Legacy. It's
Still?
Delver strategies, like broadly, yeah. If you were like combine the numbers of just Delver strategies, it's definitely Delver strategies are the best decks.
Okay.
And then like these decks are designed to beat those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Delver has a miserable time against lands. Like a lot of their cards just don't interact. Punishing Fire is so obnoxious. Like it kills your Delver.
Yeah.
You know, like depending on what you're playing, like you're just not fast enough. Like a lot of the time, if they get like Tabernacle and start Wasteland locking you, like it's a beating. Glacial Chasm's a beating. Like there's just lots of like, because Land's rough matchup are like combo decks, right? Like Land's hates playing against like Storm, you know, like Ad Nauseum, those kind of things, because like they don't play blue.
Yeah.
They just can't interact. They just die. That's why their sideboard for lands is usually like a billion Thorn of Amethyst or Sphere of Resistance and like Dark Confidants. Because like, or like Chalice of the Voids. Like they just need ways to stop. Like what is this guy's like? Yeah, he has like Trinispheres, Surgicals, 4 Sphere of Resistance. The Tireless Trackers are pretty normal nowadays. Like most lands decks play like 2 to 3 copies of Tireless Tracker in the sideboard. But yeah, they just play like, their sideboard is generally just stuff to stop combo because like the rest of their matchups are good.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. And then
I like the Molten Vortex too. I think that's like a sweet, because like Delver's the best deck, right? And if Delver's the best deck, like that's the deck that beats Land's bad matchup. Like Delver decks are designed to be Ad Nauseum combo and like Storm decks and combo decks broadly.
Yeah.
Because they just tempo them out. So
man, Molten Vortex, that is sweet.
yeah, Molten Vortex is nuts in this deck.
Yeah.
It's like so good.
Wow.
You never want to draw more than one copy ever.
That's
like,
why you only play one copy.
right. Like you just like, and if you don't draw it, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But if you ever draw 2, you're like just conceding the game. You're just literally shame conceding. But as a 1-of, it's like, it's insane. Lands is like actually one of my favorite Legacy decks. It's super obnoxious. It's super like, this is a prison deck. But it's cool. And I think like, it has a lot more play to it. Like it's not a deck that's just about like getting Merilage. Like it's like sure it can do that and just like kill you right away. But I think that there's like a lot of decision and interaction with lands, and like it's actually kind of a difficult deck to play. Like the last time I saw it on coverage, a guy could have won, but he just like kept forgetting. It was Todd Stevens was playing it, and he kept forgetting that he had 2 Life from the Loans or Punishing Fires in his graveyard, and he just wasn't getting both back. He was just getting 1 back per turn. You know, like every time he was playing the red, and it cost him the game. And so like, just like, I don't know, there's a lot to keep track of. I think it's like a fun deck. Lens is cool. I'm like, has a good Delver matchup. So Legacy's like in a kind of cool place, but like, I mean, you should play.
R.I.P. top.
Yeah, still mad about it. Like I'm still actually like legitimately mad about the banning of top. So
Okay, and then in modern, we had the Grixis deck win.
it's kind of been a while since we've seen Grixis Death Shadow win. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the finals. I didn't get a chance. I was hoping to like watch them this morning.
It's a team event though, so like how?
I know.
Yeah,
I just want to
you
see
never
what
really
deck beat what, right? Like,
Well, he beat Storm.
did he?
Well, Storm was the second place deck.
No, I know, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
but
Yeah,
we don't know
yeah.
who won. Is what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
Okay, yeah, sure. Didn't this name looks familiar? I
That
think
guy's
this guy
like-
won an event with
No,
Storm recently.
he's the guy who lost in the finals to humans, to Collins Mullins.
Okay.
He's got like a rollering out. But yeah, like this. In fact, these top fours of the team event are kind of the other thing too. Like the kind of like a brewer pride thing, like we're like loosely joking about, is like a good example of like all these are all just like tier 1 decks. Like they're all just like the best decks in team events.
Salty Energy,
The best decks played by the
Teamer
best players.
Storm, Grixis, Death Shadow, lands 4-color control.
I wonder if that's an interesting like psychological thing. Like a brewer might be fine, like scrubbing out of a tournament with some deck that they came up with and just being like, oh, it didn't work out, whatever. But if you scrubbing out of the tournament negatively impacts like 2 other people on your team, if that makes it much easier for people to just be like, nah, like whatever, I'm just gonna play like we're all just gonna play a best deck, and then like the fault will be on luck, or not on like you are not screwing over 2 other people.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Like that's what team events kind of do, right? Is like unless people do play brews, like in the finals, the last team event we played in, like we definitely just played against like 2 of 3 people were playing brews on the other team in the finals. I
Well,
mean,
then
we
maybe I'm wrong.
smashed them, like, and it
Okay.
wasn't close. So I don't know that you're wrong. It's like they got dunked, like, and it wasn't like it was not competitive even in the slightest. So. Yeah, like that's the other thing. Yeah, like you show up with like fun brews to like team events, like
Yeah, like your teammates have to have like been working on the brew with you. Like you need 3 people to be on board with this brew, which
like
is
you've
rare.
played a team event, like you know
Yeah.
what it's like when somebody plays like a deck they're not used to, and like how many mistakes they could make, and like playing a brew. Like it wasn't
during,
even
a brew. No, we were
at
on,
the
like,
time. It wasn't, but at the time it was like a new.
It kind of was. It was like when Death Shadow was new. The like
it hadn't even
4-color
won the Grand Prix Vancouver yet. It
Right,
was
it
the
was-
week before.
It was like the Jund Death Shadow with Teamer Battle Rage had been popular online, and then we were playing a version splashing white for Ranger of Eos, and that was like the new thing. And like when we heard about this list, we're like, I don't know, like this seems really weird. Why would you splash white? Like, and then it just ended up being like the best deck in Modern. So it was sweet that we played it ahead of the tournament. And like as I helped pilot the deck during the tournament, it was like crazy powerful. So like yeah, it was fine, but yeah, there's like that hesitation when someone says like, oh, I'm going to do something wacky, and you're like, well, like I would prefer to not have to 2-0 every other round, but
Right, but I'm saying the problem was also like it's like hard because like you said, you had to like help pilot the deck the whole time. Like you want your teammates to like play something they're familiar with, which
a good deck that they're familiar with, yeah, so that you can each person can focus on their match.
right, and like that usually means like not playing some new brew specifically for that tournament, right? Like,
Mhm.
and also like it's hard to guess what you're playing against in a team event, like who, like yeah, but like these team events, like the top 4s, like the essentially are all just the best. Like they're just covering the spread. It's like the smartest choice in a team event. Like,
Mhm.
kind of a bummer
Why?
as far as standard goes, at least. Like,
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I don't know what I'm gonna play. I mean, I know I'm gonna play that Grixis Thopters deck in standard when I get around to it, to like F&M or something. But like, yeah, if I was playing in a real event, I'd just play Teamer.
Yep.
Like, I just don't.
Or it's not really even a conversation
I mean, like,
anymore.
can you still play Godpharaoh's Gift?
No
Why not?
braid. Everyone's playing a braid now.
They went back to it because of that. I assume because of Pascal's like
Yeah.
finals run at the Pro Tour. Everyone's just
Try and find a team or a mono red list that doesn't have 2 braids in it.
and probably
In
2
main
more in
deck.
the sideboard,
In main deck, yeah.
right? Like the ones I was looking at had
Yeah.
like 2 in the main and 2 in the board.
Yeah. It's just not, you can't anymore.
Rep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we had a listener ask us like what the best blue-white Godpharaoh's Gift is. The answer is like just don't play the deck. No, really, because like all the rug decks are just like gunning for it.
Well, no, my answer was all the blue-white lists are practically the same aside from 4 cards.
Yeah, and they all lose to a Brighton.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just not a good time for God-Pharaoh's Gift. There will probably be a time where it's good to pick it up again, but now is definitely not it.
I mean, really stubborn control players, actually, like really prideful control players, might get rewarded in the coming weeks. Like the winning lists. Shaving counterspells. There's no
Yeah,
spell
true.
pierces, like getting rid of, you know what I mean? So,
Is
like,
it time for tokens to come back?
why? I mean, there's no River's Rebuke. Like, I didn't see any anymore. There's no, like, spell pierces, which was your real beating. Like,
No one's playing 4 negates on their board anymore.
right. Depends if Vraska goes away. If Vraska goes away, then I would say yes. Because that card's a beating.
Yeah, well, costs 6 mana as well.
Yeah. I mean, we ain't killing them before turn 6 playing tokens. That's just not something we're about doing.
They might be at 18 or 17.
Yeah, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many millions of creatures do we have by then?
I don't know, 2.
Millions.
So
2
slow.
millions.
We've just been jumping.
Jumping and sacking and scrying.
But, like, yeah, I just think that there's a chance that really stubborn control, like prideful control players who
Yeah.
just wouldn't put down their torrential Gearhulks could theoretically get rewarded the next coming weeks. Like, you're seeing a decline in negates and supreme wills, right? And in sideboards, you're not seeing, I don't know, torrential Gearhulks in sideboards anymore. Like,
Oh, you still are.
Yeah, but you're also seeing,
not as many.
But on the flip side, you're also seeing red decks go more creature heavy, which
Yeah.
makes their control matchup better. So like,
True. And like, yeah, that's true. But I mean, the mono red matchup was already horrendous.
right, it was already horrendous, and now it's worse. So like,
Sure.
any points you gain playing against Teamer for half the tournament, you're gonna lose playing against red for the.
You were
other
going to lose
half.
those red matchups anyway.
Yeah,
Scratch that. Alex Wilson's Teamer Energy deck, GP Portland, 4 negate, 4 Vizier in the sideboard. Oh,
4
choose
Vizier.
Supreme Will.
Jeez.
Jesus.
But yeah, like, I'm just saying, like, control, like, there's 2 confiscation coup main, like,
Yeah,
I think people just didn't play, like, either didn't play approach this tournament despite it winning the week before.
yeah, I don't know.
You know, like,
Approach sucks, man. It's not good.
won a tournament, hashtag scoreboard.
God, it's not good.
I
So
agree.
bad. It's so
Speaking of
bad.
confiscation coup, actually, I'll save this as our blowout because it was a sweet clip that we saw. But did you guys see that clip of like, it was on some coverage, some tournament, a guy using his
Yeah, it was this
Nicol
weekend.
Bolas.
Like, he, like, ticks up the guy's Nicol Bolas.
Yeah, he like untaps for his turn, ticks up Nicol Bolas, reveals
Chandra.
off his opponent's deck, casts it, ticks up Chandra, reveals Confiscation Coup, and takes his opponent's Scarab God, and it leaves his opponent with nothing. Just has 3 mythics in play.
Holy. Wow.
Got confirmed paddling.
Yeah, so that's our blowout right there.
There it is. Blowout of the week. Got it here early. Wow. That's pretty good.
It was like, yeah, it was nuts. I think Bolas in the Teamer mirrors is like insane. For the same reason I think Gandhi's crazy. Like, Rug midrange cards are good against themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it again. It's in the sideboard of Larson's 4-color deck.
Yeah, it's like just insane in the midrange mirrors. Like, it's just a completely busted card in midrange mirrors. Like, it's a card every turn, but you get to pick the best one out of like 4 possible cards or whatever. Or until you. Oh no, it just can't hit.
It just
lands.
it just can't hit lands.
Oh yeah, it's Gandhi.
Just-
I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Those are both nuts.
yeah, they're both very good.
If you hit a tune though, it feels bad.
Yeah, so go get a land.
2 energy.
Best card in standard. What more do you want?
That's true. You are just casting the best card in standard.
Yeah, for free.
Is a tune with you through the best card in standard?
Yes,
Probably.
yes.
Probably.
What a world.
Hazaret? Maybe Hazaret's better.
Do you remember
Maybe.
in the Return to Ravnica era, Farseek was definitely the best card in standard?
Man.
Was it not?
Could you?
It had to be.
Could you lose as Jund if you went turn 2 Farseek?
Nope.
No. You
So,
couldn't.
yeah, it was the best card in standard. I mean,
Yeah.
even the Reanimator deck
Yeah.
sometimes played it. There was a while where it played it before it had the next elf printed. Once it had all the elves, it just stopped playing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely the best card in standard. Even the Naya versions played it.
Thragtusk was in that standard. Is Farseek better than Thragtusk?
Yes. Having perfect mana.
Was it in that standard?
The thing
Jund
that-
having mana, like Jund being able to go turn 2 Farseek, turn 3 on Master of the Fells.
That was gross.
Yeah.
the
just
card
definitely-
that enables you to cast all your other good cards is better than the good cards, I think.
Well,
Because you were
Okay,
saying it
let's
yourself.
experiment.
You said if we banned a
we
tune,
should
you said Teamer would
okay.
be unplayable if we banned a tune, and now you're trying to say it's not the best card in Standard when it would literally break
Okay,
an
we're
entire
gonna
deck.
do an experiment. We're gonna play F&M this Friday,
With-
and we're gonna play no attune energyless. All three of us.
All right, I'm in.
And we're gonna imagine that attune is banned, and we're gonna play a busted, quote unquote, busted card in its place. We'll play like a good, powerful, like mythic or like energy card. I don't know what that is, but
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, at least 2 of those slots have to be lands, probably 3.
Yeah, that's
right. That's the other issue. Like, is attune that makes attune like maybe one of the best because of that. Even it lets you play less.
Yeah, it's just a land slot that upgrades
Gives you
all your
a-
other cards.
Yeah. Gives you cards essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not doing this anymore.
Right?
Thought
Like, do you want
experiment
to
over.
do this experiment? Because I feel
No.
like you don't. I feel like it goes very badly.
Definitely not.
I would have done it if you guys were, but
I will,
okay.
and we'll just get smushed. Like,
All
I
right.
bet like our deck feels clunky. Like, I bet. Like, let's just play Teamer Energy with no attune.
Sure. I'll
And
do
like
it.
we'll have to play like 2 extra lands and like 2 other like cards.
Cool.
Like we'll just go back up to like 4 ofs.
I'll do it if you do it, and then after we have a miserable time, when you jump off the bridge, I'll follow.
Lemmings hype.
Sounds terrible. I'm gonna work instead.
I mean, it's my birthday. I'm not gonna go play Magic. I'm not hanging around, I'm not hanging around playing Magic. I'm
Reasonable.
going out for dinner or something. I don't know. Do something
Alright.
fancy.
All right, so we've been mentioning it on and off throughout the episode, but the sin that we're talking about today is pride. If you haven't caught on,
Clearly,
and so to wrap
Adam
up
has plenty of this, so he's an expert on the topic.
I am the best.
to wrap up the episode, we kind of want to summarize some of the points we've been making, and that is there are times in a format when it is clearly solved, and if you want to compete in this format, you just need to stop being prideful, stop thinking that there's a way to beat the best decks, stop trying to imagine that something is like what are the pros missing?
You're not
etc.
smarter than these pros. Too smart for you.
Right, like at some point the pros actually did just figure it out.
No, they did, and Moto did. Like the actual masses did. I hate when they accredit it to an individual. It's actually just like,
Right, it's like the community conglomerate
yeah.
has optimized these decks to the point where like you just need to play them. And so we kind of wanted to end on some tips of if you're about to pick up a best deck, how should you go about doing that? And so I think the biggest or one of the like easiest mistakes to make is to go to the most recent event, look at the winning list and just copy that list, take that 75. Instead, it's probably better because people like metagame for what they think will show up at a tournament. There's different tech choices, etc., different numbers. Like MTG Goldfish, actually, if you go to like an archetypes page, they'll say like 100% of decks play 4 of this card, 90% of decks play 4 of this card. They like kind of give you this amalgamation. And you should instead sort of do that. Look through various versions of this archetype, figure out the common points, and then, figure out what you want your flex slots to be. It doesn't have to be the 75 that won the most recent event, and usually that's probably wrong.
I think it's always wrong to just copy the deck list that won the last event.
Agreed. Oh, unless, yeah.
So
Basically agree. 99% agree. I'm sure there's like a sliver outside chance.
yeah, like copying PGO Teamer was probably fine.
Yeah, I'm
That deck
sure.
is nuts. You could probably still copy it now and do very well.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's like whatever. It's probably good enough.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So like, sort of make an amalgamated deck list of what this archetype is, and sort of understand your options. And as an extension of understanding your options, the next most common point of trouble that people run into when copying best decks, when net decking, is, and we've mentioned this before, it's not understanding your sideboard. You just like put these 15 cards because that's what the list said, or that's what people have been playing, and then you like are done game 1 of your first round, and you're looking at these 15, and you have no idea what any of them are for.
Oh God, what do I take out?
Right. What do I take out? What do I even want? What are these here for? I don't understand. Like, how many negates do I want versus this deck versus that, etc.
Am I
Like,
really bringing in 4 negates here? Like,
Yeah.
that should not be a question you have.
right. So like, yeah, we mentioned this on our sideboarding episode, but like, it kind of was a slant of like, if you're building a sideboard, know what you're taking in and out. If you're copying a sideboard, also know what you're taking in and out. So like, this is a best deck. Someone who played this did very well with it. You could probably find a deck tech or an article or a winner's interview where they discuss some of their thoughts, some of their strategies, some of what they did while
Reddit
sideboarding.
/spikes.
Yeah, r/spikes. These resources of very well-informed competitive players can help you understand how to play these back because they've been playing these to great results all the time for a while.
Confirm.
Killing me. Killing me. Also, like you get a lot of like, I can't remember the stupid like dumb like psychological archetypes that they list characters into or whatever.
Timmy, Johnny, Spike.
Sure, whatever. I
There's
know
another
like,
one that cares about lore. Vorthos.
Yeah. But like a lot of brewers or whatever that fall into that whatever like phony archetype that doesn't exist. Like there's this idea of like, well, I'm not gonna play like what everyone plays. Like I'm gonna beat all these people, and it's like, I'm on that side in a lot of ways. Like I really like playing like new decks, and I really do like innovating and playing like new different decks. So I'm like really sympathetic to these people, and I understand when they get mad. But like, oh, this is like boring. Like in these cases, though, like this is an opportunity to like play this week. Even like we're not like we haven't been saying play Teamer this whole time. We actually haven't. We've been like recommending other decks. It's just right now, currently in the standard season, it feels like we're kind of in a rut. Maybe we'll get out of it, but I'm saying like this is an opportunity for those people to kind of like swallow their brewer pride and learn what the best decks do, because it's also important like as a brewer to like play the best decks, to know what you have to build against. Like you can hate on net decks all you want, but if you want to beat net decks, you have to at least like understand them and like understand what's happening, like whatever. Like it's still very important. So like this is a good week to like kind of like let that go and like let yourself go and just like try the best deck and see what it's like and see how it ticks, and like maybe it'll help you. Maybe you'll learn something from it. And like I've been saying for a long time that I think that actually like the matchups are still interesting and the games themselves are still interesting and a lot of interesting decisions. Like on paper, if you were to look at the top 8, it's like, oh god, this is miserable. Everything's the same. But like the matchups themselves are still interesting. Games are still filled with decisions and energy, as even as a busted mechanic still has a lot of decision making and rewards players for making the right decision. So
Yeah.
I think that like this is a good time to like swallow your pride and just like play the best deck just as a learning experience. And I think that you can still have fulfilling matchups, and maybe it'll help your local standard fire, because it's important to keep standard alive. But like I'm serious. I think that it's not a bad thing. Like it's not as bad as like I kind of sardonically make it sound.
Yeah, it's not as bad as we were joking. And kind of going back to the relativity, which has somehow been a big topic throughout this episode. You mentioned people will say like, oh, I tested this deck on Cockatrice and it seems strong. Or like you'll hear people say, I played against my friend groups and like this deck seems very strong. Which, it could be strong compared to everything that you have played against or with previously. But it's good to get experience with the best deck so you know like what a strong deck feels like. Like what kind of power can I demand out of a standard deck?
Yeah, definitely. And like the level of just consistency and like what decisions were people making that they won with their energy? Like, were they making Thopters when you did? Or like, you know what I mean? Still useful. So give it a whirl.
Yeah, definitely.
We already
give it a whirler virtuoso.
We already kind of blew the blowout this week.
Yeah.
Which was just a Twitch coverage one. But it was just so good.
Yeah, we'll find a link to the video, put it in the
we'll put it in the show notes. It's really good. We have the link. It's just in the chat.
Yeah.
I need to see this.
Yeah, dude, it rules.
Yeah, we'll pull it up here when we're done.
Yeah.
All right, definitely. So thank you all for joining the club this week. Make sure, as always, you check out wizardtower.com for all your Magic single needs. Black Friday sale starting this weekend. Team Trios event on Saturday. Lots of articles, our podcast, another podcast. Lots of good stuff on that website. Definitely check it out. And however you listen to our podcast, whether it's on Podbean, iTunes, or your podcast app, leave us a review, rate it, share it with your friends. Everything helps this podcast grow. And there's one more thing I wanted to say. What was it?
Not that we need your views anyway. We're already the best. Just trying to be in theme, Prideful. We rule. You all suck. See you next week.
If we could just keep like compiling the sins and what we've learned, and like our sign out at the end of each episode. Like this one will be prideful and greedy. The next one will like add in some other sin until at the end we're just like the most obnoxious sign off possible.
It's happening.
Sure. And if you
Just,
want
like, chirping our listeners.
if you want to get in touch with us, we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. Shoot us a message if you have topic ideas. If you have blowouts, still taking blowout stories for each week.
Giving out prizes. We're dropping one off today, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
The old mailbox arena.
Even if you just have
You'll drive by.
a little question about our thoughts, we're more than happy to answer your questions. You can find us on Facebook.
Yeah.
The Disorganized Wizard Club.
I always
podcast.
see the little thing on Facebook like, keep up your like excellent response time. Because like we have just like nice
respond to
response.
this person.
Yeah.
Fine.
We're pretty good at it. We're great, actually.
Yeah. Says Facebook.
Or we'll see you all next week.